we can start the session. So, hello everyone, today is our last session together. So the plan is that we start with the review of the last activity check we had, and then we go to continue and finish as much as we can the model controller topic. We will go through some small examples there, and then Visual Studio is open finally, and then if we have time we can at the end we can also take a look on the activity 9, the last activity we had. Okay, so then I guess everything is ready, so we can start with the knowledge check 3. So there were only 8 questions, so there was nothing too much there. Okay, so let's start one by one. So the first one is about which namespace has the classes, what can be found for culture related information. So country-specific information, the number of format each specific country use, and so the decimal separator, the thousand separator. So these all things can be different, and also the date format, maybe time format as well. All these things can be different in different countries. The separators and all the similar things, and that's why we need globalization namespace. There we can get all the necessary information we need about the globalization. So the second one is the question about the sustainable, which class, which type is sustainable to work with the strings. Remember, what is the problem we have for strings? That the strings are not mutable. It means that when we create the object as a string, when we simply create, define, and write the string, we actually have the non-mutable object. It means that it is just a fixed array with array of characters with the fixed size, and it cannot be changed. It cannot be. We cannot increase or reduce the size of this particular array of this particular string, and also to change the characters. That's why when we have the program which works with the strings, like let's say we have just a usual example would be you have the loop, so you have for each or while or whatever it is, and inside this loop, so usually during each iteration, or maybe there can be some conditions like every 2 iterations or something like that. Each iteration you need to concatenate the string or simply build some kind of string based on the data you have. And in such cases, it's strictly not recommended to use just a simple string, because in this case it's like it's like not efficient. It's not efficient because, as I just said, strings are not mutable. So for such reason, we use string builder. Remember, this is okay. Here we go. We create Visual Studio. Please load. Oh yeah. Okay. So where are you? Where's this? Okay. So, much better now. So let me create the new solution for today. And so there we'll have a console swap, let B. And yeah, so delete demo LTs 21. Add to the current solution. The current one. And the current solution. And here we go. And I cannot declared my program. Okay, so let me do it again. Anyway, so here we go. I will delete this class and I'll change the namespace. Okay, and this one is not needed. Okay. So remember again, yeah, why do we need a string builder? First of all, it goes from the system text namespace. Yeah. So we can work with the text. And again, the usual usage would be that we want to concatenate something inside the loop. So let's say we want to print some characters. So, and yeah, again, when we want to build the string, so we don't use it like, we don't do it like this. So we don't declare just empty string, and then we want to concatenate something. Again, in this case, it's just a dummy example, but let's say I want to concatenate something here. Yeah, of course, yeah, if you want to print it at the end, just to see the result. So this is definitely not the best approach to do, just because again strings are not mutable. This will make the impact. I mean, on the usual case when you have lots of data, lots of operations, this will make an impact on the performance and also on the memory of your program. Yeah, so that's why such approach is not relevant. Of course, you get the correct result, but you spend the resources you don't need to spend. And so, as an alternative, that would be that we use string builder. So this is the class which helps you to build the string. Yeah. So in this case, we can use the method. Since this is the object, we initialize it, and since yeah, so this is the object, and we can call the method append to append to concatenate the string. Yeah, and at the end, we can simply convert string builder to string. So in this case, again, I can simply use call to string, or just yeah. In this case, I can even use it like this. No difference, and then we get the same result, but this is a more efficient way. So remember, yeah, that if you need to concatenate strings, I mean, in such large amounts, again, maybe 10 iterations, it's not really a lot, but I mean, in practice, there may be a number of iterations you don't know how many they are, and in such case, you need to use string builder. So here is string builder. Okay. So the next question was, I would say maybe a little bit tricky, but I think most of you answered it correctly. So how generic types can be used, and so here are all the options are valid. So first we can create the reusable type safe code. and also increase performance. Reusability means that again you actually have the same class with different types used inside. Okay, so this is the template type. Remember that template types simply say that you define one class, but in fact you can use it as multiple classes. Yeah. So for each type there will be a separate class, and we can use it as a separate class. And yeah, of course, this is also the usability. Type safety means that you don't need to use, in normal case or in most cases, you don't need to use the casting. Yes, not the casting, but I would say non-casting. Yeah. So it means that you don't need to cast from more general objects to more specific value type, which may sometimes cause cast exception. In such a case, so when you have template type, you have actually the type defined, which can then be used inside. Inside the class when it is used, and yeah, you won't have any type issues, right? And yeah, performance it makes, of course, if you don't need any casting there, if you don't need any checks, because if you don't use generic types, what does it mean? It means that you can use, you can always use it as an alternative. You can use object type. And remember, we have object type, which is the superclass for all the classes in C#. And it means that you can use this type as each type you want. But what's the problem? Again, first of all, you don't have type safety. In case you use object, it can take any object you pass to it. Yeah, so object can be everything. Yeah, you can pass integer, you can pass string, you can pass whatever you want. It will accept everything, which, of course, again, when you accept, it's fine, but usually in programming, we need to accept the value and also then pass it somewhere next, and it's at the point when you pass it next, then this may require additional checks, like check the time, check like if this is an issue or not, if it's so or not. So such things may decrease the performance. So yeah, that's why we say that it also increases the performance. To create collection classes, yeah, that's absolutely correct. And generics are mostly used in the collection classes, in generic collection classes. Why? Again, because we define that this particular collection, this particular object collection, will use the same type. So all the elements will have the same type, which makes more flexibility for the collection. And so we can, yeah, because again, what this was just said, when you have the type which is known, you can pass it to the corresponding place, and it will be type safe. And also don't need any additional checks there. And the last one, to create your own generic interfaces, classes, methods, and delegates. Yeah, that's for sure. You can use generic classes or generic types, whatever you want. Yeah. So that's why all these three things are correct. Yeah, so in case you have any questions, let me know, and we can go on. So, yeah, about the generic types, what statements are true. So first of all, generic collections class library contains generic collection classes. Yeah, that's true. So these are the collection classes which use generic data type. So this is true. The second one, you cannot create your own logic interfaces and delegates. That's not true. You can create your own logic. And yeah, the last one function can be used to understand the information on the types used in the generic data type. That's also true. And so reflection, remember that this is so just simply so you can use type and get the information about generic data. Yes, so this is also correct. So next one is yeah, what is that .NET collection class that allows elements to be accessed using unique keys? So this is dictionary. Yeah, list does not have the key since it's just a simple storage where you can put the elements with the unique type defined. So queue is just a simple queue. You can you can move from the queue, you can add to the queue, and yeah, none of the above. Yeah, some of you answered none of the above, which is not very correct, because dictionary also does use the generic, sorry, not generic, but the mapping between the keys and the values. Yeah. So remember, we go to the system collections, generic. So remember, we can use dictionary. And here we have key and the value. So I can define the type of the key. And maybe let it be string as well. It can be, why not? And so this is the usual object. So I can add the elements there. And so with the key and the value. So the keys, remember, same as the database tables, the key values should be unique. The value itself can be repeatable, yeah. It can repeat, yeah. So and yeah, dictionary allows us to it. Of course, as something mentioned, hash tables, yeah, these are also correct, but out of these options, there is only dictionary correct thing. So yeah, this was correct. So next one, which of the following is true regarding the iterators? So yeah, the iterators, remember, they help us to go through the elements of the collection. Yeah, so simply say you have multiple elements defined under your not only collection, you can say any object where you store the data, and you can loop through this data. And for such a reason, you need to for the objects, you need to use the iterator. The iterator, and yeah, so this means that you implement a special class enumerable, and this gives you such opportunity. And the statements were not true. They are there's a method, yeah, they're the method get access or operator that support for each. So basically, using for each, we can go through the elements in the collection, yeah, in our object we are iterating for. Yes, they are used in .NET Collection Framework class. It's that's true as well. For collections we use them. And the last one is, so some of you answered, but yeah, enumerable is implemented for the iterators. So this is the interface. Okay, so and seventh one. So the correct statements about the delegates. First of all, delegates are type safe function pointers, and you can simply store the function as the instance and then pass it to one or another place in your logic. You can also call it as you want, and yeah, so you simply deal with the function as with the variable. Okay. And yeah, so delegates are type safe, and this is true. You cannot pass the function which does not follow the necessary parameters to the delegate defined with the with the necessary parameters delegate definition has. So just a simple thing, simple example. So let's say I have the delegate which has the voids. Then I say delegate. Then I want to pass the parameter, and I want to close delegate. Yeah, so in this particular case, I can find my delegate, and then I want to pass the method which is, so let's say it has the returning type, and it has no parameters. Yes, which is something, yeah. So in this case, I cannot do it, just simply because the type does not match. Right? So in case I follow the parameters, I define it as voids. I define the parameter here. So this should work in this case. Yeah? So this is called type safety. Yeah? I do not pass the reference, the value, the reference value which is not acceptable there. So that's why we call it type safe. So yeah, asynchronous delegate calls can be made using begin invoke and invoke. Yeah, so it's also true. Multiple methods attached to delegates get executed in asynchronous manner when delegate is code. No, because we normally attach one method to delegate, and this is declared as the object. Yes, so for the events, yeah, but just simply for the elements without for the delegates without specific definitions, we deal with them as just simple variables. Yeah? And yeah, the inline pattern can be implemented using only C# events. That's also not true because in theory you can implement the pattern, such event like pattern, using lots of different ways. You can define as many your own ways as you want. So this is quite flexible. You can declare any pattern you want. So, and the last one, under what permission do delegates run? So this is under the caller's permission. So it simply means that we call delegate. So the code is executed. Yeah? So outside of this call, outside of this call, it is of course that's the parameter. Yeah, outside of this call, it is not called this code by the user, by the caller at the end. So yeah, these are the answers. Do you have any questions? This. Okay, so I will also share the answers. with you so you can take a look at them if you want. Okay. Alright, so if you don't have any questions, then we go to the, then we continue with the model view controller pattern. Remember, so last time we started talking about it, and this particular topic is related to the developing of some kind of web applications. Yeah. So and yeah, so model view controller, it simply describes the pattern we have for such for constructing such applications. Yeah, because we have the user which makes the actions. Then there is the I would say then there is the controller which handles all these actions and all the data taken from the user input. And then of course the models are used. So the model means a specific some kind of definition like data type definition or simple definition of the usages of some kind of objects or similar, and then it's used for the views, and then the view is what the users see. Yeah. So and this is the pattern which is used in .NET. So yeah, we talked about the views, controllers, and so about the advantages. Remember that we work with the web programming, so it means that we have different. So yeah, basically it means that there's a browser which displays the views, the content for the users. Then the users do some actions, and once the action is done, it sends the request, and then the answer is then sent back. And of course, here we have the strict separation between the front end and back end. So the front end is what the user sees, and the back end is what processes the actions, the data taken by the user, taken from the user. So yeah, here we talk about the life cycle, and also the middleware, the routing. Remember what you typed in the browser. This is then received by the program, and the program handles the route to the path. So today we will create first application and take a look on some basic things. So yeah, then we have the controller which basically handles all the main actions we have. It redirects then to the page, and so it returns the view. It means that it returns the view as the object. So in the way the controller returns, it will be visible on the view. I mean, all this data will be available to the view. And yeah, then we have the actions. So the actions is something done. Let's say something done by user, if it is the run of the program or simple clicking or form submit. So these are handled by the actions. Yeah, they participate in the routing. Yes, so we can also do the redirection there, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, we can pass the attributes to the actions, and we can manipulate with the data this way. We'll take a look on it. So then there's the view. What does the view do? Yeah, so again, remember at the end of the day we want to get the some kind of web page. So a web page is always HTML. Okay? This is HTML content with the data, with the elements. Yeah, so every time I'm not sure what website I can open. I know what website I can open. Okay, maybe just let's make it easy. I'll open Microsoft web page. Okay. So at the end of the day, each page is the HTML page. I can go every element and see how the elements are constructed there. Yeah, so I have HTML page. But again, what's the interesting point here is, again, as you may already understand, this is not what is written by the programmers. So programmers do not work just anyone else. I mean the humans. I mean it's the pages are not built in the way that you just simply write normally. You just simply write this HTML page and I mean all this content you have here, and yeah, you use it in your website. Of course, that's not correct in your web page. Of course, it's not correct because all these things are. So there are some kind of patterns. Yeah, there may be the patterns like what should follow step by step, and at the end, when all the components are in place, then there is the render happens. And render means that you actually build something, and based on the information we have, based on the templates, on the pattern and the information the page the view receives, we get the HTML page with all the necessary data at the end. But again, still it is rendered. And so then the question is how such pages can be rendered. And we'll take a look on this a little bit later. Yeah, but I mean, what do the programmers do? They define the template for renderer, and yeah, they can merge and nest other views, and they also can inherit from the master layout, make the responsible UI user interface, present something as well. Yeah. It also knows the model and display data as it should be, and at the end, the HTML helpers they are used for generating the markup and can be used with loosely type and strong type data. So we can define our data elements. So for such cases, yeah, as I said, we can have the partial views. So these are the views what we can make in small components, because again, at the end we need to get HTML page, and on practice, the pages can be built using many different small pieces, many different views. Here we call them the partial views. Yeah, they can be merged, and we can get the page at the end. Yeah. So this is what we call partial view. Okay, that can also be asynchronous partial view, but it's maybe not what we need at the beginning. Yeah. So then there is the razor, so such magic add character. I had the example here, as I remember there was the example. Why it's not here? Okay, so it's strange, yeah, but yeah, so using the Razor pages, we can define the templates for the pages. So later on, I will show you the example. Then we can also use, for the Razor pages, we can use HTML helpers. So these are the method calls which give us the opportunity to generate the special HTML elements, like say that would be the action link, drop down list, list box, password, and so on and so on. Yeah. So we'll later on take a look on them. And yeah, so at the end of the day, so just for you to understand, what are we talking about? We are talking about the developing of the web applications using model view controller, and the main thing is how it is stored. So the same way as all the other projects, it has its own structure. This structure is more complicated than the structure of the, let's say, simple console application or similar, but I mean, it still has some kind of specific structure. So I mean, on the top we have, I mean, not on the top, but as the main we have three folders. So the folder which stores the controller, the folder which stores the model, and the views. You always, I mean, normally you see for the website, you see the index page. So yeah, these are the pages, the views, and yeah, normally we always start with the index page. This is yeah, for the websites. This is the starter, the home page. And yeah, also by the naming conventions, the controllers should always have the suffix controller. So just we can understand whole controller, hello world controller, anything controller, mouse controller. So we use so yeah, we start with the name and then we finish with the controller at the end. Right. So yeah, and there's the program CS, which is used as some kind of main starter, yeah, which has the main initialization logic, and it involves the startup class. Yeah, so if you're not told, then you should know that the view name should match the action names. Yeah, so this is the way how you get to the window from the controller. Yeah, the partial use begin with underscore. So these are the partial use if using Razor View Engine. Yeah, so in addition, you can also have, there's, you can call that there's dependency injection in ASP.NET Core. So yeah, it makes your code testable if needed, and you can also, yeah, the code can also be loosely coupled as well as for separation of concerns. And so you can use this for the testing, you can use for the validation. Also, testing and validate if the data is up to date or the behavior is correct. So you can use the validation by hand. You can create some kind of, say, unit tests. Yeah, we can call them this way. Yeah, so using the attributes, maybe this is more specific for us. Yeah, also just some things to know. For the views, we have the view data. So under the view data, you can pass the information from the controller to the view. Yeah, so like any data you want, you can pass there and put it to the view. So there's also the view backend. Temporary data maybe not deep, we talk about them. Also, there are the filters, so you can make some, let's say, authorization filters, because usually, let's say you have the pages, web pages, and it is usual that the content visible for one user won't be available for another user. So in such cases, you may have the authorization filter. Also, you can have some kind of resource filters, action filters, and result filters. These all depends. You can create them, but I mean, in this case, this will be maybe a little bit deep for now. I want to start with the example. I mean, with the model view controller application. So just in case you have any questions before, you can ask. And yeah, by the way, you can suggest you, maybe we start with the first example. So please, during this session, I would like you to also, participate in the practical way. So then you can take a look on. Let's see, I'll start with the first activity. So that will be activity core Nvc. So this would be this one, I guess. It's already open for me, right? Yeah, I think it's already opened. No, it's not. Let me open it. Okay, so here it is. Okay, I've done this one. Sorry, this one. Okay, so this is this activity. So here you can find out how to. This is actually maybe a little bit old version of .NET, but the point would be the same. Yeah, so for now, the task, the very simple task for you is to create a project. Yeah, so to create an Nvc project and to simply try to run it. Yeah, okay, maybe I will. Maybe let's make 10 minutes break now, but during this break you can. So I suggest you to create the project and describe here. So then please open Visual Studio, create your project, and then we proceed next. Yeah, so maybe let's have 10 minutes break now, and during this break, please prepare your workstation. Yeah? Okay, I'm back. Hope you managed to create your first one of your controller application. So let me then do the same. So I will edit the current solution as usually, and yeah, so then I can create a new one. So I select ASP.NET Core Web App, so we can also take a look on the project type. Yeah. So you can also select other options. It can be Wizard WebAssembly, just Visual Aspect or Web App application, but yeah, we'll use this model view controller. So then I can define it as my first web application. I can add it to the current solution, and I can so authentication authentication tab, so you can ask for authentication. HTTPS, it's sure that's because that's SSL protocol. I'm not really familiar with the definition of these protocols, but in our case it's not really good there. And let's create, and now we created the application. So in this case we can provide some connections to the services, to the Microsoft database, but in this case we don't really need them. So what do we have? First of all, we can run this application and see what happens. We select this one here. And it is frozen. Okay. Let's hope it alive. Okay, we're finally here. So I can select my first application, and then I start. Yeah, basically what happens here. One more thing. Before we basically start writing any web application, we need to have some kind of hosting. Yeah, because you cannot if you have like not simple simple HTML page, like if you just have only HTML page and static page, so it means that no dynamic content will be loaded here. Then in this case you don't need any hosting, you just simply write HTML page. So maybe let me just show you one small example. So I have a folder, I have just for you to understand all the testing, the practical tasks. I can create just a simple HTML file. Let's create as text, and then I can say my HTML file. So I changed the data format. Come on. What is this? Okay. If I type as HTML. So then I can use any editor. Maybe let's just type of perform some kind of HTML development. I prefer using Visual Studio Code. So maybe open it, quickly open it. So this is just for you to show the difference. I'll show you the case. Yeah, so here I can write static HTML page. So I can write page. Yeah. Yeah, so I can define some kind of page body. And, so just something simple like header. So this is the header. Then I can type head body. I have the paragraph, and I can type text. Here is the text, for example. Yeah, so just something really simple. Yeah, I can type it. I can open it. Then I get the HTML page content. Yeah, it's still HTML page. Yeah, so I can go to inspect element and see all the details I have written there. Yeah, so header, there's nothing. And under the body, there is all the necessary stuff there. But what's the problem for such HTML page? The thing is that we cannot generate anything there. Because if you simply type something like HTML, you only have the static, not dynamic code. Again, you can have some JavaScript, which may make your page a little bit more interesting and dynamic, but you cannot render this page. So at the end of the day, we need to render such page, and yeah, so this is why we have the such option like to use model view controller web application .NET. Yeah, so here I ran the application, and so now what happens? Now there is the hosting created. Yeah, so basically we need to have the hosting to be able to execute some kind of, yeah, let's say roughly we say execute some kind of code, some kind of generation, some kind of web code, and also access the files, simply access the rendering there. So, and then you could see that there is the web page opened. Yes, so it is simply opened. You can close it, you can open it again, and basically what happens there, okay, here's my previous page. And so I can type the same localhost and it will open me this page. Yeah, so actually at this point the link is reserved for your web page, which is not loaded right now. Why? Because in this case also needs to place HTTPS, I think, right? Or HTTP without S. Yeah, okay. I need to type it HTTP without S, and that would be local host. Okay, let's try this one. Oh, hold on, it's here. Okay. Oh, yeah, one more thing. Okay, the application. Okay, it's already executed, I think. Okay. So I need to re-execute it again. Okay. This application was stopped there, yeah. So it was stopped, that's why it did not work. So we need to be sure it's not stopped, so let me maybe run the same localhost, yeah, and you see here we have our local art page. Yeah, I'm not sure why that was stopped. Okay, so we have our page and it is reserved under this, let's say, domain, yeah, under this hosting. Let's have a quick quick look what happens. What happens here? I should like it. Close it. Okay, don't like it. Okay, so I think. Okay. Oh no, well, I can. Maybe I can close it for now, and then I can keep it as this. Okay, so that will be fine, I think. In this case, this page does not exist anymore, but I can still see it as it was already there before. So, okay, what do we have here? First, we have our program CS class, which is our starter program, which has the main settings here. We have the starter, and yes, we have some builders, build application. That's fine. But first of all, what we have is the routing. And so the routing shows us the pattern and to pattern to the page, to the view. Yes, and yeah, so in this case it says that when we are on the home page, yeah, ID in this case is not needed, and then it says that it will navigate to controller and to the action index. Yes, so in this case, yeah, when we have simply just the name of the hosting, okay, so localhost, then it will navigate us to home, controller, and to the action index. So then we can go there. So we have controller. So then we have home controller. Okay. And then it has the action index. Okay. So it has the action index. So it means that it will call this particular action. One more thing, what we have here is the name of the action. And the name of the action should match the view. Okay, so we have this home and we have view. So it means that this will return us this particular razor page, razor view, and here we have it. Yeah, so this is why you have this particular view, what you see here. Yeah, so it simply redirected us from home to this index view. Yeah. So again, what we see here, we see the title. Title. Yeah, so we have the title, view date title, homepage. And then we also have this text center, welcome, also in the middle, and the paragraph with the reference to this link. Yeah, so I can also navigate to try to navigate to the premise, and in this case I won't be able because the application is not running. So let's run. Here's the page, which is it's not running because okay, let's go to the home page. Yeah, because in this case I have not defined the root, I think. Yeah. Okay. It's loading. Straight navigate. Okay, no, it is here. Okay. The privacy policy is here. Yeah, so there is this page. So how is the navigation here? I don't have the routing here. So this is stop. I have have these shared layout parts, so I can check what kind of layout I have, and here I have, let's say, at the base layout for my page. Yes, I have home as the page, I have then the privacy. These are the navigational items, which, I mean, both of them are controlled by home controller at the end. Yeah, but it has two views. So in fact, yeah, one controller can manage two different views there. And so only the difference is between the actions. The actions, okay, this has nothing. Yeah, so when we go to the layout, we see that the action for when we press on the home, it will call index action. So we use ASP action. And for the privacy page, it will call the action privacy. Yeah, so this is the point here. All right, so let's have a look. Do you have any questions so far? Have you all managed to create your application? I hope. If not, then let me know if there are any issues there. Okay, so then once it is created, we can move on and try to add our new controller. Try to add a new controller. So let's then proceed here. So we have our Solution Explorer, and we can create our own controller from here. I press Add, and I press Add New Controller. So in this case, it allows me to create the controller. Yeah, and I can create the controller, and I can create an empty controller from here. So let's do it. So from here I can select empty controller, and so let's name it. Okay, as it said here, hello world controller. Okay. So yeah, now we have the controller, and we can replace it with the logic find here. Yes, so instead of movies, I will call this options. So that would be okay. So I can copy paste this code. All right. So then, good. Okay. So this is the first step. Second step is that I add the view. So I can. Yeah, so in this case, we already have the index, and the index view is here. So let's say I want to, so in this case, it's not home controller anymore. It is, hello world. So yeah, by the way, we can simply click on the controller. Then we can so on the index method. Okay. So yeah, we can directly navigate from the index method to the from the method to the view. So and from here we can create the razor view. So let it be an empty view maybe. Yeah. And now it will generate us. I'll call it as index. Yeah, and in this case we have a new folder with the razor view there. So, and from here I can define. Also, there's my movie list. I will maybe make it a bit more interesting. Maybe I'll set it up this way at this point. Yeah. So here we define it, and then this will be called from here. So again, instead of this is my default action. So you see what happens if we simply call this here. So basically, we do not return the view, we simply return the string. Yeah, by the way, we don't have any linkage here, so it should not then be called. Okay, then add it next. So let's return view, because we normally return the views from the action methods. So I can return this view. Yeah, let's also add our view to this item list we had there, to the layout list we have. So this means that we can go to the shirt, to the layout, and again here we can define a navigational item. So here we have such HTML text, and then instead of home I can say that this would be hello world. No, hello world. And the action could be index. Great. Let's run the program. It is loading. Yeah, so we see that we have two more privacies. Okay, maybe let's correct this. Yeah, because I accidentally kept the text, so that would be hello world, not privacy. Let's run again. So yeah, I also suggest you to try to change something here as well, just to understand it a bit better here. Okay, so now I have into hello world, so I can try navigate, and here I have this this page. So in addition, I can try to navigate to hello world directly, and you see that it will also navigate me to the right link. So here I have my page. So what, yeah, maybe, do you have any questions at this point? So have you also managed to repeat these steps? Okay. Hope my headsets are working. So just please, I can hear you. So, okay, so they're working. So hopefully be fine. Yeah, as addition, what you can also do, you can add the model. So let's then do it. And in this case, maybe I will not use the movies. I will, maybe I will use the person as a favorite person class, so name, surname. At least at this point, this should be enough. Yeah, so then let's then change this to the, not my movie list, but persons. Okay, and so then let's define the model for the person. Add the model, add the class. And the class would be, let's say, the person. Okay, so now we have our model person. And I can add some details. So it would be, let's start with the simple. Got the ID as well. Why not? And let it also be okay. Also the surname. And last name. Okay. And yeah, okay, maybe at this point we can use them as they are. So then the thing would be, how can we access the model from the data? So there is one option what you can do, and excuse me. Yeah, so we can go to the controller, and then we can pass this view from here. So the model will be visible. And here I can say this would be. Oh yeah, by the way, let me also change, just to make it more clear, let's change the name from person to person model. Yes. Okay. So the name of the class is changed. And yeah, then I can pass it here. Oh, hold on, that's not visible. Ah, yeah, because I cannot include the models here. There's that, and here I can, yeah, here I can use models. And now the namespace is here. Person model should be available. So it will be person. Okay, so at this point there should really nothing happen. Let's verify it, let's check it. this point, we are on the starter page. We can go to the person page. Yeah, so at this point, nothing happens, which should be correct. Yeah, but we changed the pattern of the method. Yeah, so pattern is changed, but no issues. No issue, which is fine. All right. So the next thing would be what we can do. We can exchange the data between the controller and view. So the question would maybe how to pass the data from the view to the controller and from the controller to the view. So let's have one example how we can do it. So we are here, and here I can define some simple information. So let's maybe bypass the person, not most. So that would be the person, and yeah. So here I can type which model I want to use. So I will use my model, and I will type my first web application. Again, I'll use the same model I defined, and then I can define the form. So later on we'll see what will happen. So in this case I'll type using, and I will start the form. So the forms are needed in HTML context to define the place from where the data to be provided. Yes, in this case I say we have this particular form which will store the data for this person model. Right, so and from here I can, let's say I can type data, I can define HTML, say let's start with the label, and or maybe I can also try to define text. Yeah, maybe let's start with text 4 first, text box 4. In this case I can type text box, and that would be model. I pass it to, so then that would, I will, from here I will take the model. Let's say name surname, yeah, maybe, and same as was the next one, which would be surname. Yeah, so at this point I define the name and surname text boxes on the view. So let's run and see what happens then. Okay, so here we can go here, and we see two text boxes here. So again, I can go to the inspect element and see how it is generated in HTML. So yeah, we see we have now the form. Yeah, so this is the form, and this is the form with the method post. Yeah, so maybe a little bit about it. What does it mean? Again, as I said, the form is the place where we put the data, right? Right. So we have the form, which is the error here. Which was this? But again, so we have the data, which then, and we have the post. So what does it mean? That when I submit this form, then the data to be passed to the post. Yeah, so let's say I have say name1 surname something. Guess I cannot press, yeah, in this case I don't have the trigger to submit this form. So what do I need to do? I need to put this trigger. So the button would be the usual trigger, and it would just simply be the enter button. So let's reload the page. Okay, so here we are. So in this case, we can quickly have a look on the inspect element. I need to open it. Then I say have name1 and something like surname 2. So I press enter. Now we have the post request here. We have the post request, and so there's the data. So the data should be here, but it's not here. Okay, we have so okay, so it should be here. Okay, so we have now the status called red. Okay, we have get request. So it's post. Okay, it's strange, but yeah, the idea is that using post request, the data to be then passed to the backend, to the controller. So it means that the controller can get this data. Yeah, so one more thing what we can do, we can also add the label. For the label. Oh, hold on. And, so this one, yeah, so we need to check this one. That will be quick. Yeah, so these HTML helper methods, you can find lots of information about them. Okay, so then, yeah, in this particular case, you then pass your model name. Okay. Yeah, so this is now correct. Oh yeah, so maybe instead of using Weibo, I'll better use Weibo 4. Or no, hold on. Okay, let's try it this way. Let's see what happens in this case. So let me refresh page. Okay. Still executing in this case. And let's better use variable. Better use variable here. And so the uncomfortable thing is that you need to reload this web application. Okay, so it's finally loaded. So I have the name here now. So the same as I can for the last name, and then it will be displayed on the screen. Yeah, so yeah, this is the data. What is that can be passed to the controller. Yeah? So it means that when we submit this data, we can actually receive this data on the controller. So, yeah, so first of all, let's yeah, so we can get this data from here. And so maybe just for you to show, we can do it. So let's say we can sample print it. We print it on console. Console is still here, and so this will be same place. We will print something in console. Okay, so go to hello world. In this case, nothing is printed because we have no data here. But if we type something, we name 1, so we name 2, and we press enter. See the submit is executed, and then data is now available for the controller. Why is it important? Because when the data is available in the controller, we can write any C# code we want. Yeah, so we can update the database. We can basically we can do whatever we want here. Since we have the data there. So yeah, one more thing. What we can do, we can say if, so instead of just simply printing in there, we can make it more interesting. We can check if name is initial, so it's not, I think I can check on empty string, and so model is not initial, so we can what we can do, yeah, maybe first of all find welcome string, find this empty string, and of course if the surname is not submit, not empty. And then we can write this welcome string, which would be, say, welcome name and then the surname. So what can I do? I can attach this to the view data. Yeah. So, and the view data can be attached, I would say, if you're familiar with PHP, this is quite PHP way of dealing with the collections and with the arrays. But yeah, so we can use indexers in C# and get the same result. So here I can pass the data to the view. So let's say that data would be welcome string, welcome str or something like that. So from here I can generate this welcome string. So what we can do next is quite simple. We can receive this data directly from the view. So here we are. Here's our view. Okay. So and from outside the form I can check. I can check. So I can check if. So remember, I passed the information to the view data. So here I can receive it. So here I have view data. Moment. Okay, that was all. I think that was correct. So from here I can get this string. So again, I need to use the same key. Yeah, welcome string, welcome str. So if this is not empty, then yeah. By the way, one thing. Yeah. So this is so this is not generic data type. So it means that in this case I need to deal with the object type. With the object type, so it means that I can cast it to string. Okay. So and yeah, if it's not an issue, I can I can write some kind of text. So we can also add the style. The color. Maybe blue. And then I can print the text from here. So that would be HTML display form, or simply display. And here I can display the data. Yeah. So okay, let's. We have the build errors. Where are the build errors we have? Okay. Oh. Okay, I have start. Okay, so here it is. No, hold on. This is correct. True. No, I didn't need to write. Oh, okay. Okay. So let's maybe add the brackets here, yeah, of course. Yeah, so in this case we have such complicated statement, and that's why we need to use brackets here. Right. So then let's okay. So here we go. Yeah. Okay, something is wrong. I think I don't need. Yeah, I don't need the semicolon here. Just a typo. Let's execute this again. Okay. It's running. Nice. Okay, so at this point I have not entered name, surname, nothing happens. So let it be snow. So enter. In this case nothing happens, and let's see why. Let's see why. We have view data. Okay. Okay, so in this case means that one of these items were. So in this case, okay. So it didn't work. So we can check. We can check, and in this case, the easiest would be that we check it first in console. We see if the welcome string is generated correctly. Okay, I think. Okay, never mind. Let's try again. So let's try again. So I press enter. Okay, we have. Okay, so in this case, at least from here, value is correct. The value is correct, which is good. So we passed data to the view. Okay, this seems to be correct. So then the data is passed to the view, which is also correct. So in this case, it's what? Okay, so it has display. Let's maybe try this out. No, I mean that's yesterday, but okay, let's try. I don't think we like it. Okay, let's maybe try the following thing. HTML. Okay, let's try to use display 4. And here I'll display this data. Okay, let's double check if the context is correct. Yes, it should. It's home controller, hello controller. Welcome str. String is passed. No, string is passed here. Okay. So let's try again. In this case, printed too much, but okay. Okay. Can fix this later. For now. Oh, okay, so it prints. Prints the length. It's quite strange, I would say. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's try it again. Let me convert it to a string. Strange that it printed it this crazy way. Yeah, I mean, they can be the warnings that there are the warnings that the type may be more convertible, but we are sure that in this case it's fine for us. Here we have okay, the property access. This is a little bit strange. This is a little bit strange. Okay, maybe let's use the following. Let's maybe do it easier way. So we can define also the global variable under our class, under our page. So that would be welcome string, and I can get the data already from here. So I guess that would be better. That would be better, and so then I can check it here. So, and yeah, maybe also as an option I can check if welcome string equals null, then we can simply say that that it will be the empty string, just the default value. Yeah, okay. So let's save and run again. And instead of this view, I will use welcome string. So, okay. Here at least we have welcome. Yeah, that was just because this was generated this way. Let's try again. Okay, at this point it works, but one last correction and fine. Yeah, so if you want to receive anything, it's better than do it on the top. Okay, so here it is done, and then yeah, so here I can make my maybe some small adjustments. Maybe instead of checking if there are empty strings, I can also check if there are maybe nulls. Because in this case, this should normally work then. Let's run. Okay, so there's nothing here. I can type name, surname. I can press submit, and it now shows me the output. Yeah, so this was the example how to exchange the data in between the controller and the view. So do you have any questions here? If yeah, I mean they see each other. They are under the same project. If you want, you can also add additional projects and then share the code from them. Yeah, this would also be possible. But in this case, all these files are under the same project. Yes, we don't need to add any references there. Yeah, they are visible for each other. But if you want, you can also add another project and add the reference to it. So yeah, this would be the case here. Yeah, so actually there is a little bit a different approach also described here. So how you can access your model's data from the controller. So in this case, you can add the controller and also add the data context. Yeah, maybe at this point I will not go with the data context here because we don't have too much time. But yeah. So basically, we can also use the context to store, to store the data there. in the to store the exchange data. So I mean, just the rough and the rough way how we can, what we can do is one more thing. Let's maybe quickly go to examples. Just one small example. What's just one small practical usage. So I will go to my PHP admin. It's still loading. I mean, yeah, in theory you can also add your own Microsoft database directly to the project, and that would be easier. But in this case, maybe just let's not make it complicated. I will. Okay, let me delete this 2_1 database here, since I don't need this. Yeah, you can go. Yeah, if you want to delete the database, you can go to databases and delete it from here. So I'm back to the .NET database, and in this case, okay, it has the country. So let's maybe print the countries. And so maybe I will change the model a little bit, or maybe let's maybe create one more table just to not overcomplicate it. And so I will go to the database. I will create another table. So let's let it have free, just a simple table, only ID, name and surname. Last name. Just not overcomplicate, let it be surname. That's the text. Okay, this one to be defined as the text, and there's the primary key. Okay, so I have the table. And let's instead of saying welcome, we can also add this value to the database. Yeah, I mean, in this case, I will not provide all the direct and right structurally right ways to do it. In this case, I'll just simply show rough way how we can do it. So just for your understanding how this can be done. Yeah, I can go to the model back. Where's the model? Here's my model. Here's the model. So yeah, in theory, let's say I can establish the connection to the database. Okay, yeah. So let's take, yeah, by the way, we also need to add MySQL connector here. So maybe let me quickly open the previous code we had. So that was. Let me quickly open it. Yeah, that was 13. So I will also, yeah, so just in case you need to add new packages, you can do it the same way. go to the terminal. So, and then in this case, I need to change directory to practical tasks, and I need to change it to the name of the current application. So, and the name is my first web application. So, and from here I can add the package. Okay. So the package is loading, and I can write it from here. Yeah, so in this case I can establish the connection. So I can add store the connection here. Also can add the namespace. Oh, no, sorry, not the namespace, but the usage of the namespace. So yeah, I can find the connection and let it be private, just to make it easier. I mean, connection should normally then be established globally, but in this case, I will keep it here. So but I mean, normal case it should be done globally. So this is just for demonstration here. So and then we can void open connection. And so in this particular case, I can check if this connection open it. Simply open it from here. And intent, yeah, so here I can do some actions. So for example, I can enter the database. So and from here I can prepare and execute the query. Maybe I'll not use ID in this case, it's not really needed for me. Yeah, but I can write the query for the insertion. So this would be insert into, then I have table persons, and then I can type the values. So I have, maybe keep the same name and surname. The values to be so the values would be provided from the parameters, the name and surname. And let's define MySQL parameters. unified MySQL parameter, the name and the type. So this would be the text, the string. Excuse me. Same for the surname. Okay. And now we can add these parameters. So I can define a command. Which would be the MySQL command. Provide the query and provide the connection. And I can add the parameters here. No, sorry. Yeah, and by the way, I can also provide the value to the parameter. So the value will be this name. And then for surname parameter, this would be surname. Okay. So this is done. And then we can add these parameters. Okay. 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 These are here. So, and we can prepare the statement. So, same as before. And we can execute this SQL statement. Okay. So, and also as the option, I can clear the names. Okay, so let's see. And again, when this to be done, this should be done for the inside the controller, right? So in this case, what can I check? I can check that these names are provided, so I can prepare the string. In addition, I can also I can open the connection, and I can also add to the database. So let's see if this works. I mean, of course, this is the rough way. Oh, you should better modularize it in a more appropriate way, but this is just the demo here. Okay. Okay, so now say Jack Sparrow, maybe center. Let's see what happens here. Okay, we have welcome Jack Sparrow. Let's see what we have under the persons in database. Do we have anything here? Yeah, so we have Jack Sparrow. So as an alternative, what we can do, we can also yeah, so the last thing what we do here is that we print these elements. Again, we can use context or maybe similar way, but in this case I will make it easier and maybe more direct. Yeah, so this is just again just only for demo, but why not? So in this case I can also use person model and in this case I will get the entries from the database. So in this case I will it will be the following way. It will be I don't really like this. But okay, why not? We can in theory return the same model. So that will be the list of these models. Yeah, maybe I don't really like it, but okay. That's just for your understanding in this case. So I can fetch the list. So it would be persons. Get persons in this case. And in this case, I will again open the connection. I'll prepare the query. So in this case, it would be similar. Just create a SQL command. So from here, for connection, I will directly execute. No, I cannot execute. I'll create statement. Excuse me. No, I'll create my SQL command. Sorry. Create my SQL command. So from here I can provide the command text and the connection, of course. Here's the connection, and the string would be just simple select from persons. Alright, this is done. And so from here I can execute the query. So that would be let's say I'll get the reader. So the reader, that would be the commands, and I will execute reader. Alright, so and from here I can get all the persons. So it would be the person model. It has to be the people. So create a new list. As always, and then we add the new elements to this list. So we go through all the the elements of the reader. So I ask why reader read it means it has next. So then I set, no, sorry, I create a new person. The new person model. Okay. I set the name, which will I take from the reader. So it would be a string, and so I can simply take the sequence of the column. I can also use the name of the column. So there is no difference here. And I would like to then get the string. That would be the second one. Right, yeah, and no, hold on, that would be the first one, that would be the second one, and the first one would be the ID. In this case, I don't use the ID, right? So in this case, we'll skip it. Skip it, and then I add the person to the list. Yeah. People we have. Alright, and then again we return this list we prepared here. So we can call this method from the controller. Next, so that would be here. I can set this list back to the view. Not back to the view, I can set it to view. So it means that I will always set it. So this means that I go to the view data and I set list of persons. And in this case, I mean, I can create a new model, I can create a context, but in this case, just the easy way how to do it. So I will get persons here, and then I can define the list with these persons. So then I can go to the index view. So, and from here I can find persons, and I can print these persons. So to be able to print them, I can again use sorry, not using, but a simple syntax. That would be, yeah, maybe I also get this list at the beginning here. So I have this list with person models. People list. I get it from data again, right? So I pass it from controller here, and then I can go through these elements. And then I can print them. So just maybe to make it easier, I will simply print them this way. It's HTML display 4, and here I'll maybe concatenate name surname. let's oh yeah, so here I don't need to pass anything. I'll simply pass person name plus space plus server. All right. Yeah. In this case, I can display each as separate paragraph, so that would print against the list. Then I don't need the semicolon here. Yeah, by the way, here I need to use the casting, of course, since I deal with the complicated type. I need to do the downcasting. Alright, so let's see what we have here. So let's see what we have here. We have internal server error, that's fine, and we have unhandled section. Okay, yes, in this case, since maybe I can then better use the brackets. And I hope this will help. Okay. Let's see. Here we are. Let's try again. Okay, so still. Okay, it doesn't like it. It doesn't like it. Okay, so then what we can do? We can make it easier. I can do the following thing. I can go with the person. Middle class one. This one. And then override it to string. So it will be public. Overrides. Remember, each method, each class, each object can be represented as a string. So in this case, I will return this name plus surname. So let's try them now. Okay, so now we see it works, but okay, but it shows, okay, it shows each element in separate paragraph. this way. Strange. Let's try again. Again, the only thing is now the display issue. What we have here? Please that the logic works only the displays was display is not correct. Yeah, so we have persons, and here we print them. I'm not sure why. Okay, maybe let's do it again. Not sure why the Jack Sparrow is relatively separate. Ah, okay, it is the field and the label. Yeah, okay, so that was the reason. Let's maybe try to use display instead. Okay, let's try this one. No, it's not too long. Okay, it asks okay, a moment. It's okay, we can yeah, I mean, we could use display before, but in this case, okay, we can also try to then use the text, maybe. Okay, now this is sorry. One moment. Use them. Try to then simply use it this way. The person. Name and surname. Would that be simply just simply the person? Yeah. Okay. Let's try this one. Okay, so now it works better, right? So see, Jack Sparrow, I can add one more element. What would be? Let's try this. And okay, we have. What do we have? We have the error, right? Yeah, have the error. Because yeah, okay, it's already open, so I can check if this connection is opened. Oh, one moment, yes, this one, let me check. Yes, we can check if it is open. Yeah, I just forgot the method. Oh yeah, I can check connection state, of course. Check connection state. So if connection state is connection states system data connection state closed, then we can open. Because otherwise we don't open it. So then we can check. Do not try to open twice. Right. So let's try it again. It's running. Okay. So let's explore. Let's say we have Jerry. Let's try to add. I think oh, okay. So then there's the commands. Connection. Okay, then maybe I can close the connection at the end. So maybe that would be maybe better. Yeah. I think we can close the connection at the end. Okay, so in this case, let's then do the same here, just to make it more easier. I mean, in this case, I mean, we can make it more structured, but this was just a rough example to see that we can do it. Okay, let's check. Here. Environments. Okay, welcome, but why it's not? Oh, okay, it's not refreshed. It's not refreshed. Yeah, so we need to refresh it, or we can do it in the different way. Yeah, because here we have the sequence. Here we have different sequence. Yeah, first we display and then we enter. Yeah, in this case we can, if we add differently, then it would be, and the sequence will be correct. All right. So let's run. I guess this time this should work as expected. something like this. So it's, yeah, so now we see new name is entered and they all are stored in the database here. Yeah. So okay, this was just a small example how we can proceed with the patterns in model view control. Again, as I said, there are more patterns, but so this is just for the beginning. So do you have any questions about what's that we have here? Yeah, as usual, I'll share the code at the end. So okay, then we have a little bit of time, and yeah, so maybe Irina, you had the question about about the last. Okay, I see Mother is typing. Okay, maybe let's maybe wait for the question about these tests, and then we get about details. So about details. These are data transfers object. Okay, maybe at this. Yeah. So to be honest, at this point I cannot really maybe explain about these data transfers. This particular case. So I mean, yeah, in this case, maybe I cannot really then explain about them. Right now, I need maybe a little bit of preparation here. It's about data transfer object. So if it's not, but so maybe yeah. So, sorry, maybe at this case I'm not really prepared explaining about them. Yeah, but maybe other questions. Let me see how long is that. Yes, maybe Irene, meanwhile you can prepare that issue you shared me yesterday. And so yeah, maybe you can open it and then we can check it maybe together. So I see how is typing. Okay, then share the code. Yeah, the question from is practically possible to create complex web pages using HTML? Just simply using HTML, it's I mean you can write some kind of pages. Yeah, you can even create pretty much fine design, but the key problem for such yeah, because the thing is that for HTML you have in addition to HTML you have CSS and JavaScript. So basically using them you can create pretty much good page, good and yeah, so pretty much complex page. Yeah, so I mean, but the thing is that without such how to say better hosting patterns, yeah, hosting designs like Nvc, like if you work with other languages, that would be PHP frameworks or some Java frameworks like Java, Bootstrap, sorry, Spring Boot, and some CSS patterns like Bootstrap and JavaScript frameworks. So you can then create I mean, complex, I would say normally it means that you have the access to some kind of data and to be able to process this data. Simply with HTML, it's, I mean, you can use the hosting, then you can use JavaScript, and basically there are the frameworks which are written on JavaScript only. So in theory, yes, if you have some JavaScript frameworks, just roughly on HTML and simple JavaScript, it's no, it's not really possible. You can create the components. Yeah, basically, what you can do on HTML, you can write the template. So the same as we have here, we have the template where we can add some kind of details here. Yeah, so we can prepare. Yeah, so we can prepare some kind of pattern, and then from here, this will render us the HTML page at the end. And yeah, that's the question, because a lot of web pages nowadays have floating objects. Yeah, the pictures that transform into other as you scroll. The transformations, it's not done really by, transformations are done by JavaScript. Yeah, so any actions you see on the screen, like something is moving, this is done by JavaScript, and so maybe all the visualizations, these are done by JavaScript. And so like I can slide, so these are JavaScript. And this is done by JavaScript or some JavaScript frameworks. And some scrollers, it's usually it's JavaScript plus CSS. Yeah, but the thing is that the data where it's taken from. So for example, where you take the news, for example, I'm not sure where, yeah, so some news or some headliners, they should be taken from somewhere, and this is the source which then require the normal backend to be used. This is one thing, and the second thing is the framework, because if you just simply start writing your own web framework, this will be I would say pretty much complicated nowadays, because there are lots of different requirements, lots of different integrations needed, different browsers. Again, nowadays, thankfully, Internet Explorer is going to the history, but it's, I mean, the web front-end development still requires some complicated things to be done, and so nowadays most of the frameworks are built on some patterns, and it's not like you need to control. It means that you don't need to control the like every pixel on the screen. Yeah, mostly the things are done on the based on the templates, based on the designs and the patterns. And something like that. Yeah, you can use HTML plus JavaScript, and so for the visualization, that would be CSS. Yes, to create a cool web page, since it know JavaScript, I mean, it's not only necessary, because as I just said, you may have to have some kind of frameworks, web frameworks, which will include all these things automatically. Yeah, so sometimes the only need is that you simply include the existing pattern, and then display it on screen. Can be used in front-end development, JavaScript. There's also TypeScript, jQuery. I would say it's also JavaScript, but some kind of special language, special component of JavaScript. But in the only JavaScript, I mean, JavaScript is directly how you can manage the elements. Yeah, because as I said, you have, for example, the console. From here I can access the elements. From here I can make any movements, because on the front there is, I mean, JavaScript is not the backend language. This is the thing, because C# I can only write in C# before the page is rendered, because you see, when I open the page, I cannot make any movements based on the, I cannot make any movements using C#. C# is used at the moment of rendering. Yeah, so at the top there is JavaScript, and actually, at least from my experience, that's only JavaScript with TypeScript, but yeah, actually, the good question. This is the only front-end language, which I guess that's, yeah, for the most part, yeah, the answer is yes. Yeah, maybe there are some small alternatives, but JavaScript still remains as the primary language for the action controls. Yeah, because on the screen, on the design, but again, if you don't like JavaScript, the good point is that there are already lots of different frameworks which allow you to integrate it in the way that you don't need to access JavaScript directly. So this is the point. But yeah, so still JavaScript is the front-end language. Okay, so are there any other questions? Okay, then maybe Irena, you can maybe share your screen if possible. Yeah, so we have a little bit of time, but still, yeah. So, yeah. That's fine. Yes, I do. Let's see. To declare it. You don't need integer. No, not here, not here, not here, but when you call the methods. When you call the methods, you don't need to declare them. No, I mean on the top. No, when you call the methods, not declare. Yeah, here. Yeah, here you see. Yes, here, on 167. Yeah, you see the issue, you try to declare the variables there. You need to pass them. Just pass the variable, just pass the variables there. I mean, train arrival status and arrival time. You don't need to. So why you have this integer arrival status, states time? You don't need them. No, you need to do it integer arrival status. Okay. Stay. Yeah, but this is not what we're here. Yeah. Okay. So then you need to check if the types do match. Yeah, so we have arrival status. We have the data. Yeah, you have not initialized the arrival status and arrival time. This is the issue. You need to initialize them. I mean, yeah. So after you declare them, you need to initialize them. So you have the train. Yeah, you have the train which should arrive. You have the arrival status, right? So and you have the arrival time. You need to pass the. You need to actually yes. So you see, you have announce arrival. It means that you need to pass some information. In this case, there is no information you pass. You see, you don't pass the train. The train is empty. You simply declare it. But you need to have some values there, right? So if you want to announce the arrival, it means that you need to announce some information. But in this case, you have no information. You only declared the train. Yeah, you only declared the variables, but you don't. Yeah, you need to add some kind of values there. Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean in this case you pass the variables, and these variables have they should have the values, right? Because if you want, I mean, just like in Euro, if you want to announce the arrival, you need to pass some kind of information. Here you don't pass the information to train. You see, you just only declared it, but it should have some kind of same for arrival status. You need to before you call the method, because you first need to assign the values, and then you need to announce the arrival. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I mean for the train, you see it's the integer, so you can assign any value there. So train 5, for example, then arrival status. Yeah, then arrival. Yes, yes, yeah. The same as for arrival status. Yeah, you can check how you declare them and to create new object. So this is the object. You see. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. This way. Yeah. No, no, that's fine. No, 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 yeah, that's fine. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, you can. Yeah, yeah, you can try it too. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, good. Good. Thanks. Yeah, that's fine. So, yeah. So then the question to you is, are there any other questions? So, okay. Oh, yeah, in the GitHub the solution for the activities 9. Okay, yeah, I have not prepared it, but I can maybe share later this week if it's fine for you, Emily. Because I have not prepared this code yet, but I can share it this week. Yeah. For the test, yeah, I can share the results I have done. So, yeah, sure, why not? Okay, so here it is the table, and I'm sharing it. Let me share maybe in general chat. So here there are the results. Yeah, so let's find them. All right. Yeah. So any more questions? Okay, then if no questions, yeah, so as promised, I will try to find a time this week to share. So, yeah, the week would be quite heavy, but I think somewhere at the end of the week I can share the solution in the GitHub as usual. Yeah. Okay, but then if there are no questions, then that's this is the end for this course with me. Yeah, so just so yeah, I hope that as Anna said, she she shared the information about the upcoming sessions you'll have next year. And so I hope everyone received or will receive. If not, so then I wish you all a nice second part of this course, yeah, and also good wish you all a great journey in IT, and maybe see you somewhere in the future. So thank you very much, everyone, and enjoy your Christmas, enjoy New Year, and have a magnificent next year. Then, okay, then thank you very much, and bye. Bye. Have a nice Christmas, everyone. Bye bye bye. Bye bye bye.